On this Honda Accord, P0720 is being handled as a vehicle speed signal error seen by the multipurpose camera unit. In plain language, the module may not be seeing a vehicle speed signal that lines up with what the rest of the vehicle is reporting. The driver may notice warning lights or system messages, and the issue can involve communication faults, transmission speed sensor information, connector problems, or the multipurpose camera unit itself. Treat this like a plausibility diagnosis. Do not jump straight to a part. First, make sure the other systems that supply or validate vehicle speed are clean. Start with the basic system checks. Turn the vehicle to on mode and use the HDS to check the PGM-FI system for codes. If any codes are present there, check what they mean first before continuing this P0720 path. If PGM-FI is clear, move to the A/T system and check it the same way. If the A/T system has codes, handle those first. If it is clear, check the CVT system for codes. Again, if codes are present, diagnose those before continuing. Then check the VSA system. If VSA has codes, deal with those first. If all of those checks are clear, continue with P0720 verification. One important shortcut here. If communication codes are stored at the same time as P0720, diagnose the communication problem first, then come back and recheck for P0720. A bad or missing network message can make a speed signal plausibility code look like a sensor or module fault when it is not. Once the preliminary code checks are clear, verify the problem. Clear the code with the HDS, turn the vehicle OFF, then test drive the vehicle at 25 mph, 40 km/h or more. After the drive, check codes again with the HDS. If P0720-62 does not come back, treat it as an intermittent failure and the system is okay at this time. If P0720-62 does return, the next step depends on the transmission type. For a CVT vehicle, run the CVT speed sensor related checks next. The key point is that the monitor for P0720 and the monitors for the related CVT speed sensor faults do not use the exact same detection conditions. So even if the PCM or TCM is not currently storing those related speed sensor codes, still perform the CVT speed sensor diagnostic checks when P0720-62 is the fault being confirmed first. If that check is not okay, the fault is in the CVT speed sensor related area. If that check is okay and the failure has been duplicated, inspect the multipurpose camera unit 20P connector for loose terminals and poor connections. Also check for any applicable service information related to the codes or symptoms being diagnosed. If those checks are okay, replace the multipurpose camera unit. For an A/T vehicle, go to the input shaft or main shaft, speed sensor related checks. Same idea here. P0720 can be confirmed before the related speed sensor faults are stored in the PCM or TCM because the detection conditions are different. So run those input shaft speed sensor checks even if those companion codes are not stored. If the check is not okay, stay in that input shaft speed sensor related fault area. If the check is okay, continue to the output shaft speed sensor check. Next, run the output shaft or counter shaft speed sensor related checks. Again, do not skip this just because the PCM or TCM is not storing the related output shaft speed sensor codes. If that check is not okay, the fault is in the output shaft speed sensor related area. If the check is okay and the failure has been duplicated, inspect the multipurpose camera unit 20P connector for loose terminals and poor connections. Check for any applicable service information related to the codes or symptoms being diagnosed. If those checks are okay, replace the multipurpose camera unit. The takeaway on P0720 is to prove the code first, then separate a real speed sensor related problem from a signal plausibility problem at the multipurpose camera unit. Clear the code, reproduce the drive condition, follow the correct CVT or A/T path, and only condemn the camera unit after the related speed sensor checks and connector checks pass. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.